Did you know that one Australian muscle car was sold for $1.75 million? Another brought $1.3 million at auction. These are the 10 most expensive classic Aussie cars ever sold. The 350 is a proof that even affordable classic muscle cars aren't affordable anymore. Top condition examples now command over $200,000. This was the last proper Monaro before the nameplate disappeared for over 2 decades. Chevrolet's 5.7-liter V8 under the bonnet, that classic fastback roofline. And here's something most people don't know. Only a fraction of HQs were built with the full GTS 350 specification. Most buyers opted for cheaper 6-cylinder or smaller V8 variants. Here's the kicker. Values have tripled in the last decade. A car you could buy for $60,000 in 2015 is now a $200,000 investment if it's clean and original. The Monaro market is only going one direction. This Torana did it all with a 6-cylinder engine. Holden's 3.3-liter inline-6 with triple Stromberg carbs, almost 200 horsepower, but in a car weighing barely over a ton, that was enough to win Bathurst. Peter Brock's 1972 Bathurst victory in the rain is the stuff of legend, but here's what most people don't realize. Brock wasn't supposed to win. The lightweight Torana surprised the larger V8 cars when rain hit the track. Clean original ones now sell for between $200,000 and $300,000. And here's why they're so expensive. Documentation matters. An XU1 with full factory build sheets and original drivetrain can hit the top of that range. A car with replacement parts might struggle to crack $200,000. Buyers are paying for authenticity, and with so many XU1s modified over the years, genuine, untouched examples are vanishingly rare. But while 6-cylinder Toranas are expensive, there's a V8 version that's worth even more, and it dominated Australian racing. The L34 took the lightweight Torana platform and added Holden's 5.0-liter V8. Limited production for homologation, built to race, and it succeeded. What makes this car valuable isn't just rarity, it's racing success. The L34 was competitive throughout the mid-1970s in Group C touring car racing. It won races, it took podiums, and it proved Holden could build a car that combined performance with reliability. The L34 first appeared at Bathurst in 1974 and took a podium finish in its debut race. High-end L34s with documented history and original components now reach $300,000 and climbing. Buyers aren't just paying for a fast car, they're paying for a piece of Australian motorsport history. The A9X was Holden's ultimate weapon. Built for Group C homologation, it featured strengthened differentials, upgraded suspension, rear disc brakes, and extensive weight reduction. At the 1979 Bathurst 1000, Peter Brock and Jim Richards didn't just win, they won by 6 laps. On the final lap, Brock set the fastest lap of the race just to prove a point. It remains one of the most dominant performances in Australian touring car history. Here's what makes this car's values insane. There were 2 versions, sedans and hatchbacks. The hatchbacks are significantly rarer and more valuable. A pristine A9X hatchback with full documentation can bring $500,000. A sedan might only fetch $300,000 to $400,000. But here's what nobody tells you. Values are driven by condition to an obsessive degree. These cars were built to race, which means many were thrashed, crashed, and rebuilt. Finding one that's completely original is like finding a unicorn. At this price level, authenticity is everything. We're now entering territory where cars are investment-grade assets, and what comes next proved a 6-cylinder could be worth as much as any V8. The E49 is the most expensive 6-cylinder car Australia has ever produced, and it's not even close. Chrysler's 265 Hemi 6 with triple Webers produced 302 horsepower. That matched the V8s from Ford and Holden, but from 2 fewer cylinders. Only 149 were built. Authenticated examples sell for $400,000 to $500,000. The E49 was Chrysler's response to Ford's GTHO program. They couldn't compete with Ford's V8 budget, so they perfected what they had, the Hemi 6, and proved cylinder count doesn't always win. Here's why E49s are so valuable. Most of the 149 built are accounted for. When one comes to auction, it's an event. Buyers know they might not get another chance for years. The E49 values have outpaced many V8 muscle cars. A pristine one can sell for more than a Phase 2. Rarity drives value just as much as performance. But we're about to enter the realm of cars that have broken the $400,000 barrier, and what comes next started it all. The Phase 2 doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Everyone talks about the Phase 3, but the Phase 2 proved Ford's GTHO concept worked. Released in 1970, Ford's 351 Cleveland V8 producing 300 horsepower, 0 to 100 in around 6.7 seconds, top speed around 220 kilometers per hour. In 1970, those were world-class numbers. Alan Moffat drove a Phase 2 to victory at the 1970 Bathurst 500. That win cemented its racing credentials. Now, I'm not certain about this, but I believe around 250 Phase 2s were built. Some sources say more, some fewer. Production records from this era can be inconsistent, especially for limited-run performance models. If anyone has verified Ford production data, I'd love to see it in the comments. Clean examples now sell for $400,000 and up. The Phase 2 established the template. The Phase 3 perfected it. But the Phase 2 came first, and that historical significance is worth serious money. The Phase 1 was where the legend began, Ford's first homologation special that could win Bathurst and be sold to the public. It featured the 351 Windsor V8, not the Cleveland that would come later. It had solid lifter camshaft, 4-barrel carb and close ratio gearbox. Phase 1 values have climbed faster than Phase 2 in recent years. Why? Because collectors realize first of the breed matters. The Phase 1 is the foundation of the entire GTHO legend. Top examples in original condition now sell for $400,000 to $600,000. There's a subset of collectors who specifically want the first iteration. They don't care if it's not the fastest. They care that it's the original. The Phase 1 represents the moment Ford decided to build the fastest sedan in Australia. That decision changed Australian automotive history. We're now in the realm of million-dollar muscle cars, and what comes next is a piece of racing history that sold for a price nobody expected. This isn't just any HK Monaro. This is the car that won the 1968 Bathurst 500 in the hands of Bruce McPhee. The first Bathurst 500 under new regulations, the race that established the template for Australian touring car racing. That actual race-winning car sold for around $1 million. The HK Monaro wasn't even the most powerful car in the race. It was running Chevrolet's 327 against bigger engines, but it had reliability and driver skill. Bruce McPhee drove a perfect race. That 1968 Bathurst win was politically important. Holden needed it. They were being beaten by Ford in sales and racing. The Monaro was their response. That win validated the entire Monaro program and kicked off one of the greatest rivalries in Australian motorsport. But we're not done. The top 2 cars aren't just valuable. They're the holy grails of Australian muscle car collecting, and the prices are absolutely insane. The Phase 3 is arguably the most famous Australian muscle car ever built. When one sold for around $1.3 million, it sent shockwaves through the collector car market. This was the car that set a world record. Official top speed is 227.7 kilometers per hour. In 1971, that made it the fastest production sedan in the world. Not fastest Australian sedan, fastest production sedan. Period. Engine is Ford's 351 Cleveland V8, 0 to 100 in 6.4 seconds, quarter mile in the low 14-second range. Everything about the Phase 3 was built to be the best. Alan Moffat drove one to victory at the 1971 Bathurst 500, but here's what drives values into the stratosphere. The Phase 4 was cancelled. The supercar scare killed it. That made the Phase 3 the end of the line. There's something about last of the breed that collectors can't resist. The Phase 3 represents the peak before political pressure forced retreat. But verification is everything. At this price level, buyers need build sheets, original components, documented history. A Phase 3 with questionable provenance might struggle to break $800,000. A verified example with racing history? Over $1.3 million. But there's one car that sits above even the Phase 3, a car so rare most people will never see one, and it sold for a price that redefined the Australian muscle car market. The Phase 4 is the holy grail of Australian muscle cars, and it was never supposed to exist. Ford developed the Phase 4 to push performance even further. A more powerful Cleveland V8, better aerodynamics, upgraded suspension, everything designed to make it faster than the Phase 3. I think only 4 Phase 4 prototypes were actually built before the program was cancelled. The supercar scare in 1972 killed it. Ford's management decided building an even faster one was politically impossible. The Phase 4 died before production. Only those 4 prototypes survived, but one was sold at auction for around $1.75 million. But it's more than rarity. The Phase 4 represents what could have been, a glimpse into an alternate timeline where the supercar scare didn't happen and Ford kept building faster cars. Collectors are paying for that what if as much as the actual car. The Phase 4 is the end of the dream. The car that represents everything Australian muscle cars could have become if history had gone differently. And for collectors with the means, that's worth almost $2 million. The market for classic Australian muscle cars shows no signs of slowing. Every year, records get broken. Every auction, prices climb higher. If you owned one of these back in the day and sold it cheap, you're probably kicking yourself. But if you held on to it, you're sitting on a gold mine. Thank you for watching this video.